Hello, and now let's have a look at the semantic map as a vocabulary expansion strategy. For my semantic map, I used the article Negotiating the Algorithm, Automation, Artificial Intelligence, and Labor Protection. And in order to show it to you step by step, I decided to scale it down to using only the abstract of the article, which of course is probably not the best example because the abstract is very short. There are not so many words there, and it's quite difficult to find some connections between those words. But I think that this will serve the purpose and you will be able to see how it works and you will be able to implement this strategy in your own work. So here you can see the process. The process of building semantic map consists of 7 steps. And now let's go through all of them step by step. First, we choose the key concepts for our semantic map. I decided to use these 3: automation, artificial intelligence, and labor protection. I took them from the title of the article, but you can also use the keywords that are always available for all academic articles. You can also go through the abstract and maybe you will find some keywords and key topics there. Next, we are reading the text and writing down the words that are related to our concepts. And these should be challenging words, new words to us, because it's not just for collecting the words. The whole idea of using a semantic map is for learning new words, memorizing new words, and forcing yourself to use them actively. So I first circled some words and then I wrote a list for myself. Next, I need to define the meaning of each word because they're new to me, unfamiliar. I don't know how to use them. So in order to work with them, I need to know what they mean. And there are 3 ways, 3 strategies that you can use here. You can either find a definition of the word, you can find a synonym of the word, or you can use the word in a context. So for these 2 words, I decided to use the definition. I read the definition from the online dictionary, and then I put it in simple words, something that is easy for me to understand. This word was quite familiar to me, but I decided to use it in the context just to memorize it better. This word I basically knew, but I wanted to learn it as a phrase because I know what labor is, I know what regulation is. Now I want to learn that labor regulation is how we officially call it. So I didn't even go to the dictionary. I just knew this and wrote the definition by myself. And then these 3 words were quite challenging to me, so I didn't know how to use them. And for them, I decided to use both the definition and the context. And the context I took from the text. Next, we need to organize the words in groups and define connections inside of the groups. And I decided to proceed with 2 groups. And here you can see how I grouped the words. And basically this stage you are doing at the same time with stage number 5, where you title the categories for your word groups. Because when you decide how to group them, of course, you're thinking about some principle, like according to which principle I'm grouping those words. So I decided that group number 1 could be impact of using AI, and detrimental implications and dismissal could be the words, and then employers' power. And here I wanted to put labor regulation of neglected vest and prerogative. Next, I'm drawing my semantic map. So I have my keywords here, the words that I started with, and now I need to show the connection of all these words, like how all of them are connected to each other. Well, first of all, my keywords, of course, are interconnected because AI is one main reason for automation, and they are interconnected. And then, of course, AI has impact on labor protection because we have people who are working and now AI is coming there. And so what is going to happen next? And then I have this category of impact of using AI. So I connect it with the AI, well, clearly. And then inside of this category, I want to show some connections as well. So for example, that one of the impacts of the AI is the detrimental impacts of dismissing people from their jobs when AI and robots start doing something that before people used to do. And then my next category, as you remember, employers' power. This is the category that is connected with the labor protection. And employers' power is restricted by labor regulation. Unfortunately, it was said in the article that there are some issues that are often neglected by the employers. And if you just have a look at the word best, then basically it has no connection to labor regulation and labor protection. But if you remember it from the context, and that's why I wanted to use the context here, then it's clear like what the connection is, that labor regulation vests employer with authority. And then we have this prerogative that is the privilege of the employer and the power of the employer over the workers that also should be regulated by labor regulation. And again, I want to remind you that this is an example, and this is, well, here you have not so many words, but I think that for the purpose of an example, you can see the idea how the semantic map should be built and how you go through all those steps. And again, remember that using the semantic map is the strategy for learning new challenging words, memorizing the connections between them in order for you to expand your vocabulary and to use those words in your own speech or texts. So while working with these words and figuring out the connections between them and grouping them and titling all those categories, you are actually doing good for yourself because you're memorizing the words much better. So good luck with your semantic maps.